Hello everyone. In this session we are going to study about PHP, which is also known as Hypertext Preprocessor. So basically in this session we are going to cover is how to make a simple login form. So let's start. So the session outline goes like this. In the first lesson we will learn about the installations of the XAMPP server. In the second lesson I'll teach you about basic HTML form. In the third lesson we will see database connectivity. Finally we will see the PHP coding for form handling. And at the end we will see the entire demonstration of whatever steps we have performed initially. So like I said, in the first lesson we are going to cover installation of XAMPP server. You can also install WAMP server, but it is always better to install a XAMPP server. And then we will see how to create a database using PHP MyAdmin and create a table using the same interface of PHP MyAdmin. Okay, so starting with the installation of XAMPP server. So to install a XAMPP server, you must go to this link, that is apachefriends.org, and download XAMPP server from this site. Once you download, you will get an exe file and you have to run that file and follow the instructions. Once you click on next, you will get this screen which is shown here, which asks you to select the components you want to install. Generally all the components are checked and you must keep it in the same way and install all the aspects of XAMPP. Click on the next button after this. You will get in the setup, you have to select the installation folder. So select whichever folder where you want to install your XAMPP server and press OK. In the next step, you will be shown this screen. So don't forget to uncheck this checkbox where learn more about Bitnami for XAMPP. Just uncheck this box and click on the next button. When you click on next, you will see this text box which will ask you to select the language. So you select this American flag for English and say save. Okay, after you're done with this installation, how do we start the XAMPP server? So to start the XAMPP server, you locate the file called as xampcontrol.exe in your installation point. That means wherever you have installed this XAMPP server, you go to that location and locate this xampcontrol.exe file to start the server. Once you click on that xampcontrol.exe, you will see this window which is being shown here. So whenever this control starts, just start two services, that is Apache service and MySQL service. Okay. Now to start your PHP MyAdmin interface, what you have to do is in this row, just click on this button, that is the admin button. Whenever you will click on this admin button, you will see a PHP MyAdmin page open. So we will see that how it happens. Okay, so like we have discussed, I have opened this XAMPP controller and I have to go to my admin PHP MyAdmin page by clicking this button here. So when I click this button called admin, this page will open, that is localhost/php myadmin. Now if you observe this entire page, you can see that on the left side, that is on this side, we have all the database that are already installed, that are created in this. Whenever you install a XAMPP server or a WAMP server, these are by default present. If you want to create your own new database, what you have to do is click here on new. This will open this page. You have to write your database name. Suppose I write it as login details. Once you write the database name here, you just click on this button, that is create. So you can see that your database has been created and it is being displayed here. So this here we can see how to create a database. Now how do we create a table? So again you can observe that there is a tab here which says that create table. So you have to write the table name here. Suppose I have to create a table called as user details, since we are trying to see how do we have a login form, how do we create a login form in PHP. So suppose this is user details, and number of columns you can increase or decrease here. So in user details, I just want the username, password and a serial number. So I'll just reduce the number of columns here, and I'll mention it as 3, considering serial number, username and password, these 3 columns. And then I click here go. Once I click here on go button, you can observe that there are 3 rows created here for 3 columns. So let's start with the very first column, that is serial number. Okay, now the data type of serial number you can select from here. So I'll take the data type as serial, so that this column will be auto incremented, and keep the length as 10. Next column name I will type as user name. The data type next will be username data type, we can keep it as varchar, and length on safer side we will keep it as 50. The next column that is expected in login details is password. Again it will be a varchar, and we can keep the length as 10 characters. Okay, and we can say save. So this is a very simple way in which you can create a table. You can see here whatever number of columns that you have created. Okay, now you can also add the columns. So how do we add? Suppose here after creating the table, and I think that I should add some more columns. So here I can put as add 1 or add 2 columns, and after which column I wish to add this, either at the beginning or after serial number, after username or after password. So if I have to add any column at the end, I will select the last column which is added, and suppose one column I have to add, and I say go. Again I'll see that there is a row which will indicate that enter whatever column you have missed. So if I have to write it as modified by, it will be a varchar, length of again 50, and default as none, and then save. Okay, so now again my table structure has been changed, and you can see it from here. User details, you can click here and you can see the structure of this table here, and now you can observe that there is one more column. Similarly, you can remove this column using this key actions here. You can change the name of the column, and all those things you can do here. Now to insert some fields here, there is a table. Here you can either write SQL queries here. If you want to write few queries on your own, you can write the queries here and click here on go, so that you will get the output of whatever queries you have fired. But if I want to insert using this same PHP My Admin interface, I can click here on insert button, and then here I'll get all the fields that I have, columns that I have entered for the table, and I can write the value. So serial number 1, user name can be test, password whatever you wish to write, test, and modified by admin. Okay, if I want to insert one by one, I can click go here, but I want to insert it all at once, so I can put go here. Okay, so next, even if I don't write serial number here, let's keep it blank and check what happens. So next, username can be test1, password can be test1, modified by admin. Okay, now these 2 rows, and I click on go. Okay, so you can see that there are 2 rows already inserted here. And now if you want to see, just go to browse, and now you can observe the table that you have created just now. It has serial number 1, 2. We did not remember that we did not enter 2, but it has been automatically incremented by 2, since we have taken the data type as serial for serial number, username, password, and modified by admin. Okay, so when you want to insert, if at one time you want to insert more than 2 rows, So you can continue insertion here, and you can add the number of rows that you want to insert here, and enter the fields, and you can insert 4-5 columns at once. So I hope you are clear with this entire PHPMyAdmin thing, and how we can create a table or a database in PHPMyAdmin. Now, whenever we create a database, there is one more thing that you must do is you can create users for a particular database. So to create a user, you have to go to this tab called as privileges, and here from here you can add a new user. You can see here new add user account. So when you go here, you can add the username as suppose admin host. Now basically we are on localhost, hence we will write it as localhost. Password for that particular user we are trying to add. And then there is also an option to auto generate a password, so you can generate it automatically. The system will generate a password for you all. Now what are the privileges that we can give to a user account? Create a database with same name and grant all the privileges. If we select this option, it will create a database named admin1, and it will grant all the privileges to this user. But we don't want so, since we have already created a database that we need. The second option here is to grant all the privileges on wildcard name. That is, on this name, all the privileges will be granted. Or the last option is to grant all privileges on database or login details. That is, a particular database, this user will be able to handle this, only this database. It will have all the privileges to only this login details, and not any other database. So we will go for this option, and then we will give all the global privileges and check all, because this is an admin account. For this login details, we did not select any particular command only that a admin can run. So you better select check all instead of clicking on all the options here, and then you can say go. So what we have done is we have added a new user who can use or who can access this login details. Okay, so this is the way. There are many options you can have in PHPMyAdmin. You can export or import a particular database from one machine to some other machine. So till now we have studied about how do we install a XAMPP server. We have studied what is PHPMyAdmin and how do we create a database table and create a new user using PHPMyAdmin. Now we will see a basic, how do we design a basic HTML login form. So whenever you log in to some account on web, there are two options, that is username and password. So how do these options appear? So there is basic HTML coding behind that. So whenever you want to write some form in HTML, you have to start with this tag called as HTML. After that, whatever contents you want on the page will be inside the body tag. So after HTML, you must write the body tag, and these two steps are mandatory. So to start with form, like if we have to design a form that is being displayed here, we have to use this form tag which says form, and then there is a parameter called as action. So when I say action, it means the page at which the user will be redirected when he or she will click on this submit button. Next parameter is method, which is equal to post. Okay, there are two types of variables that you can pass here. You can either say post or you can say get, but for security reasons we use post method. So the first line, to get this first line printed on our browser, what is the code? Username, like you want it here, colon, and then to get this text box we have to write input type is equal to text, name is equal to, that means the name of this text box. So the value that will be written in the text box can be passed using this as the variable name. So that stands for name parameter. Now if you observe, there are two tags, that is the BR tags. I have used two BR tags. Why I have used them is to use is to display this space after the first line. So after first line it will give me this space, that is 2 breaks after the first line. The next line is password. So password, for that again this password. Next, for the text box, input type is equal to password. Name of this text box is equal to user password. Again 2 break tags for the space. And last, for this button I am using input type is equal to submit and value is equal to submit. Whatever I write here, submit, go, next, will be your button name. Okay, then I'll close the form tag, close the body tag and the HTML tag. One more thing that I would like to mention here is, for password, though here it is displayed as a text box, we are using it as input type password. So when I say input type password, that time the text that you will type in password field will be hidden and it won't be visible to you when you type the password like it is there in most of the websites. Next, we will see the database connectivity. So how do we connect our front end with the database that we have created? So for database connectivity, I have created a separate file that is called as db_conn.php. So like we have already discussed, all the PHP files will start from this line. Then this is the variable declaration, that is $server name. This is the variable I have declared where I will store the name of the server. So currently we are working on localhost, hence I will store it as localhost. Next, there is the variable that is $username, the user that we have created using phpMyAdmin, that we will mention here. Then the password of that user, and next is the database that we have created for a particular project. All these things we are storing it in separate variables. So to create the connection, we are creating a variable that is $con, which is equal to, this is the function which is used to create the MySQL connection. So new MySQLi, and in the brackets we are going to pass the parameters. Now we will check whether the connection is established or not. So to check whether the connection is established, we will see that if there is some error that had occurred when we executed this function. So for that we will check if $con is connect error. This is the function for that. If it throws an error, then it will show that connection is failed and it will display the error that has occurred. And if this is not true, then it will display that echo connected successfully. For time being, I have commented this section because I don't want it to get displayed when I log in or on every page on which I include the DB connectivity file. Now there is a reason why I have separated this file, because connection has to be there on all the pages of your project. So instead of typing all these lines of code on all the pages, you can just include this file in the page on which you want the database connectivity. We will see how to include the file in the next slide. So now we will see the coding for welcome.php, which is the action page, or the page on which the user will be redirected when he or she clicks on the submit button. So like we have already discussed, HTML tag, body tag, and since it is a PHP file, you have to start with these 3 symbols. Next, here in this line, I have included the connectivity file, so the connection will be established for this page. So this is the way to include any DB connectivity file or any other headers that you want on all the pages can be done using this include function. The next line is very important. Here we are creating a variable that is $username. So in PHP we don't write the data types of any variable. We always mention it as $username, and the variables get typecasted in the input that is being provided. So here $post name, since it is a variable that will be there in this variable, this username will be of data type character variant. Okay, so $username, Now what is $post name? We created the form and we named the text box as $name. So here what we are using is $post name. Whatever the user will type in that text box will be stored in this variable when he or she clicks on the submit button. Similarly for password, $password is equal to $_post user underscore password. So whatever values that will be written in the text box will be passed here and will be stored in this variables $username and $password. Now we have to check whether the username and password is correct, and if they both are correct, then we will allow the user to the welcome.php page. So for that we have to run this query, that is, so what is the query? $query. So what it is saying, select, this asterisk stands for all. So select all from user details, that is the table that we have created, where username is equal to $username in single quotes, the username that is passed here, and password is equal to password. Okay. So it will check here from this query whether there are any fields with a particular username and password. And if there are particular fields in that table present, then it is a successful login. So this is the way you write a query. And how do we run it? $result is equal to $con, then indentation query, and you have to run the query. Okay. Now next what we are going to check is that if empty, that means the result that is being passed, if it is empty, okay, then if it is not empty, then you will redirect the user to the welcome.php page. That means you will display welcome and whatever username is there. Okay, and else if this query does not return any row, that means there is no username or password particular for this username, the password is not right, hence it will show that the login is failed. So here for checking whether this query has executed, right now we have used the empty function, but instead of empty you can also use mysql i_num_rows function, which returns the number of rows returned by a particular query. That means if a particular query returns a certain rows, that means it is a successful login. So instead of this empty function, we can also use mysql i_num_rows functions. So the summary of what we have studied till now, we have seen installation of XAMPP server, then we have seen creating database and tables using phpMyAdmin. We saw how to create a basic HTML form, and then we saw the database connectivity. Okay, so now let's see the demonstration of the project that we have created just now. So for writing all the PHP code, the IDE that I am using is NetBeans IDE. So you can see all the pages that we have discussed just now are there in this IDE. dbcon, index.php and welcome.php, all the pages that we have seen are there here. If you observe here, instead of using empty function, I have used the numRows functions, which will return me the number of rows. Okay, so these are the 3 pages that we have done. You can use this IDE for writing any PHP code. It is very simple. From here you can create a new project and then a new file. When you say new project, you have to choose which project you are creating. You can develop various projects from this IDE. So we are using PHP, so you can select that. Then you can write the name of the project and then finish. Okay, so this will create a PHP project for you, and then you can start coding in that particular PHP project. Okay, so before that we will see just a demonstration. Okay, if you are not using this PHP NetBeans IDE, then you have to store all your pages in your XAMPP. You have to locate the XAMPP wherever you have installed, and in the XAMPP folder you have to look for this folder that is called htdocs, and whatever projects that you will create will be stored here. So if you can see, there is PHP project 1, PHP project 2, which we created just now. So these are the projects. So if you are not using the ID, then you have to select this path and store all your files in this folder so that you can run it from your browser. So before moving to the demonstration, I'll just show you the database that has been created for this project. The database that I created was a test database, and in that I have created this table that is called as user details, which has two rows. One is test username and test password, and ABC as username and ABC as password. So this is the only table that I have created. Okay, so let's see the demonstration. Okay, so to start the project, you have to say localhost / php project, whatever is the project name, and then press enter. If you mention your first page as index.php, then you need not mention the page here because it will directly run the index page first. So let us test it. So username test and password was test. So when I submit, I get a message that welcome test. Similarly, if I try for some other, for a wrong password, I have typed a wrong password, so it will show me that login is failed. I hope I am clear with whatever the code that I have explained and the demo. Okay, so when I log in as ABC, I get welcome ABC. Okay, so that's it from my side. You can ask or any questions if you have. Thank you.